Well, hello there. Yes, it is that time again. It is time for our weekly tarot reading. And today's date is December the 4th of 2017. I am going to go over some major arcana cards from the Tarot de Marseille, look at a couple of minor cards to give us some more practical advice, and as always, look at a little bit of astrology, just a little bit. There won't be an awful lot this week, but we will talk about a couple things. Overall, it's very interesting, so do please stay on board. Okay, let's go ahead and look at these major arcana cards from the Tarot de Marseille. These are going to come up on the screen in a moment and cover my face. And the cards that we have for this week are the Fool, the Sun, and the Tower. Ooh, very interesting and sort of unusual. We've had certain cards recurring on the tarot blog. Okay, we've had the Empress a bunch of times, the Priestess. We've had the Fool a couple of times, but this is a different reading, and I kind of like this, and I think you will too if you follow along. Okay, we have the Fool trudging along his path. The Fool is usually freedom and expansion and, kind of like going where we haven't gone before. But in a way, he's following the straight and narrow. He is following a particular path by himself. So his perception may be a little bit actually limited. Then he encounters a companion in the Sun. Now notice the stick and bag that he is carrying. If you follow the line of that, it points directly into the Sun. The Sun is enlightenment, and the enlightenment is in connection with another. Now this could literally be another person, this could be a companion, this could be a book, an idea, a teacher. Okay? But we encounter something that changes our perceptions, something that gives us an expanded sense of ourselves and our place in the universe. And of course that certainly holds true with the Tower, with everything exploding, both figures now fully clothed, flying to the ground, divine fire hitting the Tower. It's like enlightenment. Okay, but enlightenment is unsettling. Getting rid of what we are sure of is unsettling, can be a disturbing thing, to discard old ideas and take on new ones, especially if it threatens the present order and makes us feel unstable, as we're going to see in our minor arcana cards. Yes, I always quote two minor arcana because these tend to be more practical. They'll give us some practical advice and show us perhaps how we can best integrate these lessons, shall we say it, into our lives. And here we have the Four of Swords and the King of Swords. Now the Four of Swords, if we look at it closely, we see a plant growing in the center of the swords. Now the plant has very little room to grow. It has grown as much as it can in its environment because it's hemmed in by the structure of the swords. So for it to grow, it has to burst those bonds, has to go beyond the boundaries, just like we saw with the Sun and the Tower, so it can have more freedom and it can grow. Now the King of Swords, he doesn't want anything to do with this. He's sitting there holding up his sword as if to fend this off. Okay, and he's looking in the other direction. He does not want to destabilize anything. He doesn't want to accept anything. It's rigidity. So we have to watch that rigid mindedness. And it's so easy to do that. I do it all the time. I have a very fixed mentality, and I get focused on something and I don't want to let it go. But sometimes we have to. Okay? The other meaning for Four of Swords too, if we correlate it with playing cards, Four of Swords, Four of Spades is instability. So in a way, we don't want that instability. We want things to be just kind of like neat and focused and everything together. but sometimes we gotta upset the apple cart a bit. So this is a week for kicking over the apple cart. This is a week for blowing our minds, for expanding and just really opening up to what the universe has to offer us. And of course, as I do every week, we'll talk about astrology. Now, there's not a lot to talk about this week. We've had our supermoon. That was last night. That was beautiful here in South Florida. It was a beautiful moon. Was a 7% bigger, 16% brighter, something like that. You know, not super spectacular, but still something to see in the sky. And if you're sensitive to energy, I'm sure that you felt it. Okay, it was a powerful, very powerful full moon. Now, because we've had full moon, now we're going to go into the waning phase of the moon, which is the time to get rid of things. This is not a time for attraction. It's a time for subtraction. Okay, so it's a time to get rid of things like poverty, unemployment, lack of love, lack of friendship, lack of whatever you have in your life. This is the time to banish that, or to get rid of conditions like illnesses, okay, or negativity between yourself and others. This is a time to banish, a time to get rid of. Now, the one aspect I saw for this week that could be good for us is on Thursday evening, 6:15 Eastern Standard Time, there is going to be the moon trining Jupiter. Now, bear in mind, this is again not the time to do the abundance spell. This is more of the time to say, okay, I want to get rid of poverty, get rid of lack, get rid of unemployment. Okay, these are all things that Jupiter can help us with. We do want to do this in the evening. If you do it earlier in the day, like around noon, you're going to run into a snag because the moon is going to be squaring Jupiter. Okay, you don't want that. You don't want to work with that aspect. It's going to create friction, and it's just going to cause you problems. Okay, so we don't want to take advantage of that energy. We want to work in the evening after 6:15. If you're interested in doing a working, it would be a good time for it. Also, we are, of course, still in Mercury retrograde. That has occurred. Okay, and it's going to go on to the 22nd of December. So this is not a time for signing contracts, making long-term commitments if you can avoid it. Other than that, enjoy your shopping and enjoy your holidays. Well, there you go. Thank you for watching the weekly tarot blog, astrology blog. I appreciate your support. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I do. Thanks again. Until I see you next week, many, many blessings.